Diamondlot, The Diamond Squad. By Eric Waugh. Chapter 20, Den of the Witch. Following the scent, Leeloo led the three into an area of the island that even Zaid was not familiar with. This area gave off an uneasy vibe, and it did not help that the sun was beginning to set. They continued until they came upon a den that had torches within, lighting the way. Whatever was lurking inside was more than happy to invite them in. While Bella and Nathan were arguing about who should take the lead into the frightening cave, Zaid entered into the caves without them knowing. It was only because Leeloo flew in to interrupt their squabbling did they finally recognize that Zaid had left them behind. Upon finding out, Bella immediately rushed into the caves, and after being left behind, Nathan finally chased after her. Bella ran through all the twists and turns while taking a left when she came to a fork in the tunnel. Nathan, who trailed behind, had lost sight of her, and he came to a stop when he saw the split between the paths. He looked at both paths hoping there would be a clue to let him know which way Bella went. While he was struggling, Leeloo flew in behind and startled him. Seeing the dragon, Nathan came up with a clever idea. He asked Leeloo to use her nose to track Bella's scent. However, there was a foul stench running through the cavern, and because of that, Leeloo never caught Bella's trail, so she picked a random path, hoping it would lead her to Bella. Nathan, not knowing this, followed Leeloo. While Bella was alone, she continued running until she tripped over the uneven ground inside the den. When she picked herself up, she heard a noise not too far away. She cautiously approached the area as quietly as she could to see what was making that sound. She arrived on the upper edge of a cliff, and as she peeked down below, she saw a dark figure, holding a skull staff, exuding a similar aura as the Swarm Lord they faced back in the town of Anjin. The unknown being seemed to be performing some type of ritual. Circles with mysterious writing were beginning to light up as something emerged from a large pool of water. A roar could be heard from where Bella hid, and she had a feeling she knew what was lurking within those waters. She knew she had to find Zaid, but as she turned around, she suddenly felt an attack of dizziness. Holding her head with one hand and the wall of the den with the other, she tried to keep moving, but the pain was too much and she fell unconscious. She had been struck with a dizzy spell, and now she was about to be taken prisoner. Meanwhile, Nathan was walking through the cavern with Leeloo flying near him. As they made their way, Nathan was beginning to get hungry, and he started to slow down. Leeloo, who was worried about Bella, encouraged him to move quickly, but Nathan needed some time to rest. When he was about to take a seat, they heard a noise coming from one end of the cave. It was a slow and low tone, and it sounded like a creature groaning. Nathan had his hand ready to pull his sword, and Leeloo was ready to pounce on whatever was about to approach them. Suddenly they heard an abrupt screech that had Nathan jumping high up into the air. When he came back down, he ran full speed away from the roar. On the contrary, Leeloo wasn't frightened, but she couldn't risk losing another member of their party, so she flew after Nathan. With his head down, Nathan continued to bolt it down the cave, hoping to get as far away as he could. Eventually, he collided against someone's back with his face. He held his head as he pulled himself up, and although he was in pain, he was relieved to find the person he bumped into was Zaid. He was about to shout out, but Zaid covered his mouth before he could speak. Zaid made a sign and pointed in the direction of where Nathan should direct his focus. Quietly, they peeked over the rock covers and saw someone who was communicating with the Grecs. What they saw were 4 Grecs that sat down like an audience to watch a girl dressed in black, wearing a pointy hat casting spells. The girl casted a variety of magic that involved fire, ice, shapeshifting, and conjuring items. When she finished her spectacle, the Grecs clapped their feet together.
Thank you, thank you. I know I am amazing. Please continue to shower me with your applause.
After she spoke, Zaid and Nathan looked at one another and gave each other a weird stare. They were both thinking that this girl had no shortage of confidence in herself.
One day, I will leave this crummy den and show the rest of the world how spectacular I am.
After hearing her monologue, Zaid pieced together that this girl was behind the curse on the island. He revealed himself and confronted the witch, leaving Nathan behind with Leeloo. Zaid demanded that the foul witch stopped her accursed magic. She called Zaid a tin can and told him how rude he was for interrupting her elegant performance. After hearing her insult, Zaid declared to the witch that he was no tin can, but a speed knight in which no evil could outrun. He finished off his introduction by calling the girl puny. Hearing that word set the witch into a rage. Magical energy began to flow around her body. She warned Zaid that he was about to witness the greatest sorcerer in the world. With her last threatening remark, Zaid called for his horse, and as he hopped on, he pulled out his lance, ready to fight the witch before him.